Are you the odd one out in your family, the black sheep in your family? You do not need to love them loyally and unconditionally. Actually, if they treat you like crap. This is a rule that I unlearned, and I want to share it today. I might sit here on this bench. Are you the black sheep of your family? I definitely am. Are you the scapegoat? Is there a golden child and you're the other one that they all kind of make fun of and everything you say is weird? If that's you, you might benefit from some of the things I have to say in today's video. I'm going to give probably a few little examples, and this is a good opportunity to say two things. One, I love my family very much, and I actually, when you're an empath and like a scapegoat, you keep going back to the people who mistreat you like a puppy. Like you're just innocent. You're capable of a close relationship and they're not, and you want closeness, and you all share the same sense of humor, so you have fun times and you want to fit in as well. And it's just life as well. You've grown up in it, so there's habits there, there's events that you always attend without thinking that you won't. It's just second nature that you join the family, but you're actually the odd one out. Yeah, so I wanted to say that I do love my family very much, but I am currently in no contact with them, which is a very hard decision, but also kind of not, and also the best decision ever for me. But I do want to also say, when you're the scapegoat of the family, all your examples of mistreatment are dismissed. Everything that you try to defend yourself against, and they will put you in a position where you have to defend yourself a lot, but it'll just become second nature to the whole family and even to you. That's the nature of living as a scapegoat. You try to stand up for yourself, and those are dismissed. Those make you look crazy because they're little. And a lot of the examples that I will end up giving in my videos on my channel will be small, and they'll probably trigger people, and they'll be like, yeah, learn to take a joke and just shit like that. But the truth is, scapegoats do have small examples. Small, death by a thousand cuts, just disrespect, on and on and on. So my older brother, he shut on everything that I said and was interested in, alternating with some, sometimes being on board, because he's sort of like a sad clown, like a judgmental nice guy. It's really gross. But anyway, so I'm 45 now, so let's say he started putting me down at about 5. So for 40 years, I've given 40 years where every single thing came out of my mouth that I, like a puppy, would bound up and be like, have you seen this? Have you seen that? He'd be like, that's dumb. And a lot of those examples I will share on this channel in future videos when they're relevant, and you'll see what I mean. They're small little things sometimes, but they're actually major. And if you're a scapegoat in your family, then your family is toxic. That's what I learned from, I think his name's Patrick Tian. I haven't gone on a full deep dive in all his videos, but it made sense to me that a family that has a scapegoat is a toxic family, and that scapegoat needs to break free. So I just wanted to mention those, because I think I didn't mention in my previous video that my family were doing the best that they could. They still do, and I love them, and I always have. And I've always treated them with more respect than they've treated me, and they might defend against that, but it's just true. But they bailed me out of a lot of financial situations, because a lot of scapegoats are financially dependent. I think I might have mentioned that in the previous video. So I want to talk today about this rule that I have unlearned that has set me free, which is the idea that you have to treat your family well, loyally love them, open to closeness like a puppy who keeps coming back, gets hit and kicked and still keeps coming back, and will love and is capable of love, and they're not. That you have to loyally love them even if they treat you terribly. People don't know necessarily how much abuse they're piling on you, how badly they're treating you, when you don't have boundaries and you're a doormat and you let them do it, you know? So I'm not saying that it wasn't a two-way street, but I am here to talk about this rule that I unlearned. You don't have to loyally love them and participate in that dynamic. It's just not a thing. It feels like a rule, especially when you don't know what's on the other side of that. Like, you've never lived without them and you can't imagine. But I'm going to talk about 7 kind of emotional outcomes that happen when you break this rule. I guess you could say break this rule. Can you see my hands? I brought a coffee today, which is so cool. I'll talk about 7 outcomes. 4 of them are good emotions and 3 of them are bad emotions, I guess you could say, but it's all good because it's all growth. So what do I mean when I say they treat you badly? If you're a scapegoat or you're the black sheep in your family, you may not be able to share things with them, and yet sometimes you overshare and they typically react not how you would like. You may have projects you don't want them to know about. They don't want you to shine, especially the golden child, so they will cut you down. I have a tiny example of this. So I was playing tennis one evening with my husband. It was really fun. I shared it on my group chat with my brothers because I used to overshare and then they would just shit on me and I still went back for more. I shared a picture of us on the tennis court and we had just finished playing a game. My brother writes back, "Oh, let me guess, you're the kind of person that gloats over a win." And I was like, what? No? Like, well, I know now. And that seems like a tiny example, but that's what they do. I know now that he just couldn't handle that. I don't know, I was having it was just a cool way to live life. So that's the kind of example where they respond in a way that they just don't want you to shine. Like crabs in a bucket pulling you back down. And if you're the scapegoat in your family, your nature is probably to be exceptional and to shine, but I'll talk about that in other videos. And you may have projects that you don't want them to know about, or you may, when you do show them your projects, those projects never get finished. They're the ones that you abandon. It's because your family doesn't respect you and you pick up on that and you give up on the project. Another one is, like, I love to cook, and with my husband I would cook like spectacularly and all my baking would always work out, and he would be like, "You could sell this tomorrow." And we'd go to the markets, the farmer's market, and there'd be all these artisan things and they wouldn't even be probably as good sometimes as, like, because I got really into baking at one point and cooking. I loved to cook, and he's a real foodie, my ex-husband, and he's an awful person, so I don't want to sound like I'm giving him big ups or anything, but when I cook for my family, it's really bad. It doesn't turn out. Something always goes wrong. And I would think, why when I make biscuits, are they never like 12 out of 10 when I make them for myself or for strangers, even neighbors? They're spectacular. And those people are telling me, like, you should sell these. But when I make things for my family, they're really average, they're too salty, they don't work. Yeah, that's because your family doesn't give you much respect, and your body and your energy knows it. Another project I did was I was selling antiques, and it took off, and I was selling them on Instagram, and I didn't want to share that with my family. If you have things that you just feel like, I can't share this with them, I don't know why, they probably would be supportive, yeah, that's a sign that actually your family's quite toxic and doesn't treat you too well. And it's just our family, they're just set in their ways. So I have 2 nephews, they pretty much have their personalities and their worlds like set out for them already. Your family also might tie you to a place, a location, or a country. Like in my case, it's a whole country. I've lived overseas a lot, and right now I'm here and I don't belong here and I don't fit in here. And your family probably thrive in the country where you don't fit in. So being tied to them ties you to a location that drains you or does not bring out the best in you or does not appreciate who you are. And in my case, my family shits on the place where I want to be. The places that I'm into apparently are not cool enough. They have problems with, so I can't share with them much about that. Or I don't even care anymore. I don't even try. That's what this video is about. It's about not even wanting to share it with them anymore. Just realizing that you can't and breaking that rule, letting it go. One thing I want to say, your family do know that they don't respect you. They do know that they don't understand you and therefore they don't treat you well. They kind of almost deliberately misinterpret things that you say, misunderstand things that you say, take things the wrong way a lot of the time, and then you get shamed. Any opportunity to shame you and undermine the things that you say, but you're actually a lot smarter than them. You're actually a few steps ahead of them, and it's no shade on them. It's just the truth. Their horizon is like at 100 meters and your horizon is pretty much infinity. And they just don't see the world the same way you do. But they know they don't respect you. They know they don't understand you. The thing is, they have each other as support. Let me drink some coffee. The thing is, they have each other as support to keep going. And because of that, you also think that it's sort of okay. All these things happen below the surface. They're not necessarily things that are that you have as your attention until it took the collapse of my life and the collapse of my relationship to realize the reason I put up with shit in my relationship was because he treated me 1,000 times better than my family treat me. And you think you're stuck with your family, and you're just not. You can choose your life, so you can completely change your life. I guess that's the point of all my videos, but that's what I'm saying here today. I completely changed my life. My life's done a 180 and it's only going to go up from here. But you can choose your life. So we're born into our families. We don't choose that. And so that means breaking this rule means you're choosing something different. And I listened to this fantastic audiobook called The Women Who Run with the Wolves. And she talks about being dropped by the stork. No, falling off the basket when the stork is carrying you and falling into the wrong family. And it just really resonated with me. I think if you're out there, you feel like the black sheep, you feel like the odd one out in your family, and they don't treat you well, or they're holding you back in some way, you can completely change your life. You can choose your life, and you're probably you're probably capable of so much more than they are. And that isn't a slight or anything, but they shouldn't treat you like shit. They shouldn't hold you back. If you can't share things with them, I mean, I never had the self-esteem because I was being shamed. Every little thing I said was shot down. I wasn't sure. My older brother would shoot it down because I was a punching bag for his fears and anxieties in life. My little brother would shoot things down just by being silent, but he somehow became the barometer of what's cool. He will go far in his way, and I want him to, but for his opinions to matter to me, no, that's not. I just can't believe my self-esteem was so low in the pits of hell because of how I was raised. And a lot of it originated from my father, who shamed us all and still tries to do that now, but now he's more like a hermit who shames and it doesn't work anymore kind of thing. And my mother accepts total doormat treatment, and she treated my older brother and my older brother and my father like gods. Men to her are gods, and they can treat you however they want. My older brother treated me and my mom with the same disrespect. She takes it. If you've ever seen Keeping Up with the Kardashians, Khloe Kardashian, the way she treats her family, especially earlier, she doesn't do it so much now, but then the way she treats outside people from the family, she treats them like kings and queens, and then she's really shitty to her family. Like, everything they say, she puts it down, she argues with. That's kind of how my brother is. And my mom would just accept it, and a lot of the time in my household, I would be known as the problem child. The scapegoat is because you defend yourself when they shit on you, and so it looks like you're causing trouble. And when you're a kid, you don't have the emotional, necessarily, maturity to defend yourself without crying and yelling and arguing. So you look like you're causing trouble if you defend yourself, and you look like you're causing trouble if you point out what someone else is doing. And a lot of the time, my mother, I have a huge mother wound. I can get into more details of that. She would throw me under the bus for the approval of my brother. So I hope that makes sense. If you've been the problem child in your family, you've been put in a position where you had to defend yourself, then just know that you actually don't have to keep showing up for your family. You can show up for yourself and take charge of your life. Oh, my coffee is so hot. I nearly burned my tongue. Let me wait till these screaming kids are gone. Sorry if the camera angle wasn't good. Is that a bit better? I love my coffee cup. This is so nice being here, drinking coffee in the morning. This is a Stanley cup to go. Can you see that? I don't know if you can see that, but it comes with this nice handle lid. I might link it. Maybe I'll put an affiliate link in the description. So let's get to the good stuff. Unlearning this rule freed up these things, these 7 things for me. Well, 4 good things for me. And so it might work that way for you as well. The first is self-respect. This is huge. Like I said, I didn't have the self-esteem and the self-respect to set boundaries and not be the scapegoat in my family. So it's about 45 years of that. And so I think 40 plus years to give to my narcissistic father, my mother who hates women, my brothers who almost deliberately misunderstand me and put me down, this country that doesn't like the things that I like. I think it's enough. I have to get back my self-respect and do what feels right for me. I've always been a loyal, really good person, which is more than I can say for a lot of the people in my family, and girlfriends in my life who have treated me terribly because they were jealous. My mother who treated me terribly because she was jealous. My cousin who wanted the queen treatment from my older brother, so she tried to get close with my brothers, and I thought she was my best friend, and turned out she was jealous, and we had to go to a counselor where she had to talk about her jealousy issues and how she stalked me on Facebook and things like that. And so I feel like this idiot puppy that hung around in the pits of hell with these people, when actually you can be free, get some self-respect, walk out the door, and the whole world will open up to you. The next thing that comes along with that is like a really badass energy where you are literally capable of anything. You can be a total badass, and you realize there are like amazing people in the world going for runs. I don't know, just since I let go of my family and opened up, I've just discovered so many inspiring people whose horizons are limitless, people who think humans are capable of anything, which I do, people who don't put down what my interests are, people who have interests of their own, and that inspires me. Just the variety out in the world, you will discover that, and you can be a complete badass and go get it for yourself. The next thing, this is nice, is peace, like total silence. In your mind, you don't care, you don't have to think about the conversations with your family. Like I would overthink, I would ruminate and think, I would imagine how the conversation would go if I shared this and I shared that, because I was anxious, I was anticipating how they would treat me, and all that goes. The soundtrack in your mind that is to do with family, it just goes silent, and you get peace and you get space. The next thing, and this is huge, is you get freedom. I've never felt so free in my life as in the last year and a half. And I didn't mention this in my last video, but my life up until this point has still been amazing. Like, I have done incredible things. So I'm not necessarily talking about a shitty life to a great life, because I had a great life, and that's why I didn't feel that I need to set boundaries, because my life was so good and I felt so privileged and I did so many amazing things. But the freedom now means that my life can go from like a 10 out of 10, which it was in many ways, but I went through really bad traumas at certain ages, and I know a lot of people have. I know you listening have really serious traumas, and I have, for sure. So that was underlying and keeping me like in low self-esteem as well, keeping me connected to my family. But now I have freedom. My life could become like a million, infinity out of 100, you know, from 100 out of 100 to infinity out of 100. I'm not even joking. And that's because of something called freedom. You will see blue skies in my videos for sure. More blue skies than grey skies. This isn't that common. But yeah, it's very foggy. I don't know, I mean, if you can even really see the Opera House very well. I think on the camera it looks a lot further away. But there it is, and the Harbour Bridge. Absolutely beautiful. Let me see if I can put a heart around it. There it is. So those are 4 really, really good outcomes. That brings me to 3 kind of more difficult outcomes. The first is grief. I went through so much grief, realizing that these people who I loved so much didn't have any respect for me, didn't really treat me well, all supported each other in thinking that it was normal, thinking that I was weird. You know, I admit, like, I'm different, but the treatment that I got from my friends, also from high school, which will be a different video. I want to do a video about my girlfriends from school, and the treatment that I got from my family, I showed up. To me, when I make a friendship or I have a relationship, it's just immediate loyalty, which is not a good, it's kind of, I was a doormat. It's really not good to not just have any awareness. But I was like that, just like a puppy, like I say, like immediate loyalty, seeing the best in them, trying to be close, oversharing, and then I just got like walked on and walked on and walked on by girlfriends, by cousins, by my brothers, by my parents, and it held me back. I mean, I wasted so much time, but I had to grieve. Like, tears were streaming down my face when, especially with my little brother, realizing he's not capable of a close relationship with me. He's never going to stand up for me. He sees me as the problem child. He doesn't know what happened that Christmas when my mother lied to my brothers to make me look bad, and then they yelled at me and said that you know what I mean? I use my family as an example because I know you listening might have similar situations, and as hard as it is, I'm not trying to drag them, and I will probably get I'll probably get attacked, and because I trigger people for putting my own family out as examples, but it's just not acceptable, and you still love them, but when you realize that they just don't care to understand you, and you have to grieve, is my point. The next thing is sadness. Some people might ask, you know, now that I'm no contact with my family, do I have an underlying, do I feel sad? Do I miss them? Actually, no. I feel total peace, total freedom and joy. I'll talk about going no contact in another video. But after the grief, then there's a bit of sadness, because it's sad that you never had the relationship that you were capable of, but they were not, you know. And you are if you're the scapegoat in your family, I know that you're just a complete and utter light amidst darkness. It's sad that they don't appreciate you. That's, you know, you will get some sadness. And then the last one is anger. It's really important. Like, when I realized that my little brother, because I thought he was kind of maybe the one normal one in the family besides me, you know. But when I realized like I had this specific trauma and I couldn't tell my family about it, or I had, when I was a kid, this happened and my family didn't really, I'm talking really severe traumas, and there's some still that I never was able to tell my mother. You just feel a lot of anger because you realize, wow, they didn't give me the support. It's really important to express any of that anger that you feel when you realize certain things. When you come to realizations, anger will bubble up. It's really important to express it, like scream into a pillow, write a letter to them that you don't send. It's really important to express the anger, and if the anger comes up, just know that's a really good thing. You will feel amazing on the other side if you release it properly. That is the rule that I unlearned. You do not have to. Treat your family well and loyally love them like a puppy that keeps going back for more. If they treat you, or even if they treat you terribly, you don't have to keep showing up for that. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.